Sorry, I think I was not audible before, but I welcome everyone this evening. And this is a very special moment for us, especially for me, to be hosting Antonia ji online. Antonia Minnecola ji, as you all know, is a leading exponent of Kathak, the dynamic classical dance style of North India. She's the disciple of the late legendary Sitara Devi ji, widely considered the greatest female Kathak dancer of our time. Antonia ji began her training with her auspices of 2 fellowships from the American Institute of Indian Studies, continuing to study with Sitara Devi ji for nearly 3 decades. Antonia ji has appeared in many tours and festivals worldwide. I remember meeting Antonia ji a few years back, very near to my house at the Dargah of Hazrat Inayat Khan Sahib. And I was introduced to her by a common friend, Shabda ji from US. And when I wrote to her about this interview, I was surprised and very happy to hear that she still remembered me. And it is, let's not wait anymore and let's welcome Antonia ji into the chat room. Welcome, Antonia ji, namaskar. And thank you so much for joining us all the way from US. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure to see you again.
It is such a pleasure that when I wrote to you, you remembered, and I was like, that's I just met you once.
That was a special time to be at the Urs of Hazrat Inayat Khan at the Dargah. So beautiful. Right? It was the first. I don't know if people know this, but it was the first time that women carried the chadar from Nizamuddin to cover the tomb. It was the first time, and I was there for that. And I thought, this is a special moment, and I felt it was, and Shabd sang, Murad played, I don't know. I don't know if Akram Bhai was there.
Rafi played. Rafiuddin Sabri.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So and so many peers were there, from Afghanistan and Kabul. It was a big lots of American dervishes, and
I learned tabla from Rafiuddin Sabri ji before I started learning sarod from my Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahib, my guru. And it's such an honor to have you here. I was like, whenever I send a message to anybody, that I'm always afraid that somebody would say no. That is why I never call anybody. But such an honor. I'll just take some messages that we've just received. Mahua ji says, Pranam Tony Bhabhi ji, it's an honor to have you. Namaskar, Innee ji. Namaskar, Mahua ji. Thank you. She's commenting from the Academy's page.
I see.
Amardeep ji says, Pranam Didi. Murad Ali Khan ji, Murad Bhai comments, Adab Antonia ji, Tony Bhabhi ji, welcome to Tell Me About It series. It is a great pleasure to have you on our interactive session. Swagat hai, Khush Amadid. Thank you so much. Thank you again. I will not wait long, and we have someone very special who wants to talk to you, who wants to, as I invite some guests to talk to the main guest that we have. So let's welcome the director of the page, Mahua ji, into the stream. Namaskar, Mahua ji. Welcome to the...
Namaskar. Pranam, Tony Bhabhi. It's an honor. It's a blessing to have you. It's a blessing.
My honor. My privilege.
Indeed.
It is having you is like a dream come true. Absolutely. Like when I first time sent you a message, I somewhere knew that I will get a positive answer, because I've been seeing you from a long time in America with Zakir Bhai, so many times with Maharaji. So I knew that I will be getting, every time whenever I send you a message, there is always a warm response from you. Thank you so much.
I have so many memories of those concerts. I remember Zakir had to go to the airport, but then you went on and danced.
This is what this program is all about. And since I'm a photographer and I photographed only dance and music, only classical music and dance.
I've been watching you and your work, and I think it's just beautiful. I love that whole black.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Mahua ji and of course Ragini Maharaj and Vishal and many dancers I know and that you've done, and you said you photographed Zakir, so I'm looking forward to seeing those.
I photographed him a few years back in a Jugalbandi at Sirifort Auditorium with Rajendra Gangani ji.
Yeah.
And I very recently photographed Ustadji's performance at in Delhi, Ahmadjan Tirakwa Khan Saab's memorial that they were having. Aman Bhai, I was there with Aman Bhai and Bhai, and Ustadji played after that.
Did I meet you? I didn't meet you.
No, we didn't meet you. I think Zulekha was sitting right next to you. I know Zulekha also.
Yes.
Yeah, you were sitting in the front row with Zulekha in the front, but I was sitting on the other side with Aman Bhai and Bhai. I was there. I was on the other side.
So they played first.
Yeah, they played first. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
I was going to ask you because I've been always very. It has always been my interest to see old pictures, and because I shoot a lot of dance, black and white is my absolute favorite. The picture that we shared on your poster with Sitara Devi ji, I was very much interested in asking you something about that picture, when it was taken, and how did you start? How did you get into Kathak?
When I mid-80s, there was Dayanita Singh.
Dayanita Singh, yes. I know her, yes.
You know her well, I'm sure. She was a student at that time. She wanted to make a book about Zakir.
Yeah.
And she started taking pictures. And this was the year before I came to study with Guruji, we had our second daughter.
Okay.
She came and lived with us. My mother was there, thank God, because I was busy with the baby, and you have to pay attention to the older one more, even when you have a second daughter, especially. So Dayanita stayed with us. Then she kept photographing Zakir for the book, etc., etc. And I think she's just recently done an exhibition about the making of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I do think
she did.
Yeah. And so she came, she wanted to photograph class. And I think she might have even gone to see Guruji on her own. I'm not sure about that. But I was going for class every morning with Guruji the next year. And then she just came and took a lot of photos. And she even photographed Tara Didi. Some of those photographs of us together are just beautiful. And I think that now I've been hearing from my niece, Apta, in Mumbai, that Dayanita has been sharing some photos that we haven't seen. So maybe I'll get, because how you shoot a lot more than you show, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah, that's right.
Maybe there are more. She put a photograph in the book of Guruji and I removing our ghungru.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever see the book, and I all sweat and taking off these heavy ghungru that I had. It was I used to want to wear a lot of ghungru, in those days to get the riyaz, Yeah.
So that probably is a picture of one of those.
It was.
Series.
It was from one of those, and I have a few of that, and of course of Tara Didi too, and I have been remiss because I have to say that I have a lot. In the past 30 years, what have we seen in technology?
Mm-hmm.
From all the cameras we've shot, from the VHS, the big cameras, to the smaller and smaller, then the digital, and now we don't have any film anymore. We have these little ones, right?
Yeah.
I have, I can tell you, I have tape of Tara Didi singing and Guruji playing tabla for her.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
Wonderful.
I have a lot of archiving to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wish me luck. Inshallah, we'll get it.
Inshallah.
I'll be more than happy to assist you in that.
Okay.
I love old.
I had problem because I wanted to send you this. I wanted to send you some footage of a concert that I did in Firenze, because I was back home in Italy. Now I never lived. I wasn't born there, but I'm very Italian, so I felt like this concert was it just gave me a different vibe, And it was about 14 years ago, and I couldn't figure out the technology.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have someone in Italy sending it, and But maybe another time I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
Really, this is so interesting. Mahaji, you would like to ask?
Yeah. Tony Bhabhi, I wanted to know that when did you first see, first of all, before I ask you this question, actually my father was also Sitara Buaji's first shagird. Like, first he learned from him. My father, Sri Pradeep
Your
Shankar ji, I'm
father
sure,
first learned from Guruji?
from Sitara, yes, Sitara Devi ji.
Oh, I didn't know.
So, because of that, also somewhere there is a link between you and me, because my father was her shagird for many years. Then he came to Lachu Maharaji and Shamu Maharaji, and then to Birju Maharaji, Pandit Birju Maharaji. So, I wanted to ask that when did you first see Sitara Devi ji dancing on stage, or wherever you have seen her, and how did you get inspired, and how did you start imagining her as your guru, like you wanted to learn Kathak from her only? How did this come to your mind?
Well, I actually didn't see her in concert
Okay.
until, I'll tell you, the year I started to study with her, 1985. When she came in 1976. And I knew that, she was on tour with Chobe Maharaj and with Priyamala. We played the Sword Mandal and assist her. And oh my goodness, this singer, he was a Mishraji. He has passed away now. Wonderful singer. He also sang for me. But I'm sorry, I can't remember his first name. Ranjit will tell me. But Ranjit. But she was asked to dance at Carnegie Hall. Now, for some reason, Shankar was available. That wasn't expected. And I knew that he had gone. And of course, he had played with her since he was a child. You know that story.
Yeah.
He was very young. She had a fabulous story that she always loved to tell, that when Maharaji came and his tabla player couldn't play. You must have heard this story, right?
Yeah.
She said, take Zakir. He's busy 13 or something, and Maharaji.
I haven't.
You haven't?
Please. Yeah. There are many people who don't know it.
Yeah, well, that was, it was sort of like, and this kid's gonna play, how, and she, Guruji, how she was, just hear him, just, it was kind of like that. And anyway, when she came to New York, I couldn't go, and I was busy. I was here, so then I didn't, and she was meant to come to the Bay Area, and then she didn't. So I didn't, but I had met her because I had gone to India with my first teacher, Chitresh Dasji. You might. Chitresh was my.
Yes.
So I went. I had gone to Calcutta after studying a little bit with him, and I lived at the Nritya Bharati Institute for 2 months, which was somewhere between Park Circus and Baliganj. Are you Bengali? You are. You're not.
I'm a Bengali. Yeah.
So you must know. Kolkata.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing experience, and Prahlad Dasji Baba, he also took me under his wing, and I'm very fortunate. Then I had gone to meet her because I stopped in Mumbai, then Bombay.
Okay.
And Zakir brought Chiteshji and me to meet her. And, she sat there, and how powerful she was.
Absolutely.
Walked in the door, of course, she knew Ramnarayan Mishraji very well. Chiteshji's guru.
Okay.
And then I remember she gave this speech about who the guru is. So dramatic. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, like that. I was totally I just kept my head. I was so afraid of her. She was wow. Anyways, and what I knew of her, I had before then, I think it was right before then, or maybe right around that time, she had made an LP that was, and as she always said, was Chobe Maharaj's creation. All the compositions were composed by him that were on there. And it was very, all of the liner notes. And I remember being at my friend's house. Her husband was an antique dealer. And he'd find all these, get all these finds, put the LP on. And I was studying Kathak at the Ali Akbar College because that's and my God, the sound of her voice came through me. From then, I knew I had some incredible attraction to her just from the sound of her voice. And I said to Ranjit Bhai, where this LP, he said, yeah, I went to HMV or wherever, the place burned down, all the tapes are burnt. Right. But I still have copies of that, and I still go back and listen. So I had this incredible feeling. So when I went to study with her, and first I wrote to her and asked her if she would accept me. She said yes. So I was meant to come, I think maybe a year sooner or a couple of years sooner, but I became pregnant with Isabella. So I had to push it back. So I showed up with 2 kids, 2 babies, and they were very concerned about that because they were women, and Tara Didi especially. Because Guruji always wanted me to come to class wearing a sari. So, not so much Jajo, but Priyamala would say, why are you coming in a sari? You're American, don't you have other clothes? And I said, are you kidding? She's telling me I have to wear a sari. I won't understand anything, so she was very careful about that. And I have to say, when I was so fortunate to be at that time, those first few years that I studied, I couldn't stay for a long. I had to do my training piecemeal. A couple of months, a few weeks. Then she came here and she lived with us, which was fabulous. And I went around with her, and so many students wanted to study with her here. And those classes are taped.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Her concerts with Zakir were taped. I don't know if 2 of them here. I don't know about the other cities where she danced if they were taped. But it was an amazing thing to bring her here, and then we never could get her to come back.
Wow.
It was, she'd always have some excuse. She didn't want to be away from her family, I think, so.
Yeah.
And Ranjit was married and he had a child, and she became close to many of her students as well. So I had to be saying pranam and adab to everybody here now.
There are a lot of people commenting, a lot of people sending their regards to you. So I'm just flashing the messages.
This is very, I keep thinking about that first line from A Tale of Two Cities, Charles Dickens. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. We're in a very bad situation with the pandemic. Yet, this is God wants us to be here, so we're here, and we're in this. Our good friend, great artist, choreographer Alonzo King, he gave a talk the other day, and he said, "We're in this pause." We're being given this pause for some reason.
Yeah.
And how
I believe it.
How fortunate are we? Maharaji, I remember Maharaji once said, he said something like, in time, I think it was maybe just a few of us, he said, in time, this only Parant is going to be the language we share. But I was thinking, how fortunate are we that we're in this sorority, fraternity, community, Kalakar, Kathakar, of this incredible Sangeet that we share.
Absolutely.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're there. I could almost weep because I've been feeling very isolated. And it's I think it's easier for us. Maybe we had our 4-year-old granddaughter with us, and it broke my heart because children want to be with other children. And I'd watch her sometimes walk out on the lawn, and she'd see other children, and she'd want to.
Yeah.
And now they're talking. They're not. Can they open the school? I don't know if India are they opening the school?
No, nothing yet.
No, nothing yet.
There has been the parents have been saying that we don't want the schools to be opened till the time there's 0 cases of COVID.
Yeah, because condition here is not good. It's very bad here too.
So we should, and so what do we have? Then we look at what treasures we have. To give our children, to pass on. I mean, I'm taking class online with my daughter.
Oh, wow.
She's a dance teacher. She's staying with us.
Oh, wow.
When our granddaughter was here, Zakir was teaching her. She sings Sargam.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
She's Nonna. She calls me Nonna. She chose Italian for grandmother.
Okay.
Oh.
Nonna, tell me the story of Krishna sealing the butter. Now she's a big makkan thief. She's always waiting for you to pull out the butter or the cream. But you realize that you were given a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first 2.5 months of this, all 6 of us were living here. And Anissa, our older daughter, was, we have to keep the children inspired.
Yes, absolutely.
Keep giving. Yeah. So, you see, like, I have a little video. Zakir gave her a little flute. One of these little South American, he's behind her with a little drum, Just, it became a great, I always say the older I get, the younger my teachers are happening. So I'm learning all the time. But like I said, that we were given this pause to look internally. I think that a lot of people are doing that now, and certainly I'm sure your students and you are doing the same, Mahua. Then
yes, absolutely, Tori Babu, absolutely. Yeah, and somewhere we are very fortunate that because of these gadgets or the technology, we are connected. Otherwise, like, it would have been very difficult.
It's really quite.
Yes.
It's really quite a gift. We've had some. Hello, Manu.
Vishal says, Tony Auntie Pranam, please do share some stories about Tara Devi ji.
Okay, I will absolutely.
Fateh Bhai also says Adab and Pranam.
I think I started to say when
please.
I went to the first time I showed up was a few years before. Actually, I had just danced at Kathak with Chiteshji and my guru and at that time. And I come back to Mumbai and went to a Guruji's house. I just thought I'm driving by. One of the other students of Chiteshji was with me, Michelle. We stopped. We went upstairs. I knocked, and door opened. Tara Didi was about probably all of 4'9" inches.
Okay.
Oh.
And henna hair. I mean, you could see the bone structure. I mean, she must have been gorgeous when she was young, and she was still gorgeous, absolutely. When so she looked at me. She had this way of looking at you, like, who are you? You know me. And I, in my very faltering Hindi, I said, Alaraka Kansa Bahu, and she went, Niller almost picked me up, brought me in. Now, Guruji was just coming out of the bedroom, totally dressed up, made up, diva. She was diva.
Yes, absolutely.
And she looked at me and Taradidi said, this is Alaraka Kansa Bahu. This must be Zakir's wife, right? Yes, of course. So she looked me up and down because I was wearing an old cotton sari.
Okay.
Old but a cotton sari. So she said, "What are you doing? Can you come? I'm going to the Taj to meet Nurjahan."
Oh.
She's come from. Actually, I think she came from America. Go home. Get dressed. Makeup. Put something nice on. Okay. Ran out, all dressed up, and that was my first kind of meeting on my own with her,
Oh.
So and we had a wonderful, incredible, that's a whole other story, to be with two divas in the same hotel room. Well, it was amazing. So then when I came to study, you have to understand that Guruji was there, Taradidi was there, Chobe Maharaj would come, often play tabla for my class.
Wow.
It was very encouraging to me. It was unfortunate that he didn't live for very much longer after that. Ranjit Bhai was there. Abbaji would come over and give talim to Ranjit Bhai. We would sometimes Ranjit's bedroom, and Abbaji would come back there, and he'd be reciting, and because you know how he was, he never stopped. Abbaji never stopped. So Jajo was there, Jayanti Mala, Priya Mala was there. They danced for me. They often danced with Guruji. Sometimes Guruji would say to Jajo, I taught her this Vandana, now you do the Durga Vandana, you do the 9 moves. You give her 9 moves of Durga. Then Jajo would teach me something. It was a full environment. So I felt like I was part of the Khandan very much. I felt that I am, but I felt that way. And when I was introduced to Guruji and I came in, I kept thinking, she's such a force of nature. She had so much joie de vivre, this French term, joy of life. She was a must. She was a bon vivant. She loved life. She loved people. I think the first time I stood in front of her, she's like, have you seen Maharajji dance? I said, of course. He came to the college in 1974. Of course, I've seen him dance many times and she just sat there and she went, great artist. That's how she was. She was not how some people have pictured her. She loved people. She loved artists. She was so proud of India's artists. She would say to me all the time, these are the ornaments of India.
Absolutely.
Our artists. Bharat, she would talk about the culture of India so much. And then, of course, her Khandan, she was extremely proud of. I think she'd be even more proud now. We saw her dance wall and Jajo's dancing. And more and more and more. I think she's probably in heaven, looking down and being very happy.
And I'm sure there also she's dancing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I think also, I don't know if you feel this way, but I just, from watching everybody I'm watching on Facebook, whatever, it seems like Kathak is having a renaissance. And almost a resurgence. And that the younger generation seems to be very supportive of each other, which is a very good thing. And I think that's probably I see it even in I see it among musicians also.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone seems to be, and this is what I think even now we're learning. Come on, let's be kind to each other. Let's let love be the answer here, because it's, we have to, we must. And but I have, I mean, when Vishal wanted me to tell a story about Tara Didi, so.
He had another request as well.
Oh yeah.
Rupak Kulkarni ji says, Namaste, Tony Bhabhi. Vishal says, Auntie, please share her makeup story. I heard with Jayanti Malaji.
Well, there's a lot of makeup stories. I remember that the great filmmaker Ismail Merchant, he would always ask me to tell him this one story of Guruji and makeup, but I'll do that. But I would get to class. I would get to my lesson. I'd come in the morning. She lived close. She lived very close to our home in Paradise Apartments, right on Nepean Sea Road. I often would just walk. There was one of those staircases that came down the hill. I would walk. So I'd get there early and I'd put on my guru, and Tara Didi sometimes would help me. And she wouldn't be there yet. And she'd come out. A lot of times she'd come out in a t-shirt and a sari. A t-shirt. Had just woken up, washed her face. And, okay, do something. Go ahead, dance. Good. What are you doing? What did I teach you? Good. Practice. Not going well. And she was there with a table of makeup. As she's watching me and teaching me, she would then make up. So this absolutely, fresh-faced person who'd come from having probably just scrubbed her face, she would become, the eyes, the kajal, the eyebrows, the makeup, the lipstick. It was an amazing thing to watch her, and she was a true artist at it as well.
Absolutely.
Her makeup was very beautifully done. And so when a very kind of unfortunate occurrence happened, 2004, I was taking class with her. Now she had shifted to Altamont Road. She had shifted to the other side of not too far, but so we were dancing, and there was one other student. And so we were doing something, and she was in an extremely kind of a grumpy mood that day, I have to say. She was not in such a good mood. She was kind of distracted, something, who knows. But dancing, looking back, looking forward, So I turned away, looked back, and literally it looked to me, and I always think some, devil was afoot that morning. Her body was in midair. And I saw her, this is what it appeared to me. And I saw her fall. Now, when she fell, it was very upsetting to me because there was a piece of luggage that was sitting out from a bed that was along the side of the living room, the hall, you call it. And I saw her head actually bobble. And it was terrible. And so we tried to, sit her up and lift her up. Now I knew, because she couldn't stand, she couldn't put any weight, that she must have broken something. Okay. So luckily, Rennie, who was the other student, her father was a doctor. Because, there was no, I don't know about India now, but there was no 911 then. Ranjit was out of station. Zakir was out of station. No one could help. I don't know. It was the doctor called some hospital he was associated with. An ambulance came. Now she knew the ambulance was coming. And she said, this is what a smile loved, "Get me my makeup. Get me my comb. Get me my hairbrush.
Wow.
Get me a shawl." We brought a nice, beautiful red shawl out, wanted to. And, even when the ambulance men came, they were just like, I said, she's a very great artist. You have to wait. She wasn't going to go out, not even on the stretcher, to the ambulance without her makeup on. And she was already starting, she was in pain. She had broken her hip.
Oh.
Right. And she was very brave, went through the surgery in such an amazing way that when we, myself, Anissa, Isabella, we went the next morning after the surgery, and she was sitting up and she looked like she was about to dance. And her surgery, hair, makeup, sitting there waiting for us. I remember when we walked in the room, she said, "Oh, you three look like Apsaras coming in to see me. I'm so happy to see you." And I remember I left and I said to my daughters, I said, "My God, I can't." She just had this amazing hip replacement. How could? And my daughter Anissa said to me, "Mom, she's not Sitara Devi for nothing."
Absolutely.
Right? So that was, and then, I was there, watching her go through the therapy, and it broke my heart. And but she came back so powerfully, and she'd be lying down getting therapy, teaching me. She was
a very powerful woman, very powerful.
Incredibly powerful. Do you know that right before she passed away, about, I would say 7 months, 8 months, I was there, and she had a dog, a new puppy, and that dog never left her. Didn't really like anybody. She would always say to me, "Why, Lola likes you," but I'm kind of a dog person, I like dogs. So I never used to until I got a dog, but too much. But anyway, new puppy comes in to the household, and they did not get along. Sometimes there were about 4 dogs in the house. Now her dog did not get along with the puppy.
Oh.
So I'm dancing, out now. By this time now, she's living in Andheri with Jajo and Rishika and Rajesh. And the dogs get into this vicious, when they really are, the fur is flying and the teeth are bared and they're really fighting, and I screaming, and Shona comes in and she's screaming and Guruji's screaming, and they wouldn't stop. And they're right there at her feet. She picked each one of them up by the scruff of their neck.
Oh.
Feeling pretty weak these days. The dogs were like, and I said, "Oh God, you look like Kalima." I mean, I was like, "Oh my God." It was, not much. And then she just leaned back, and she was rather exhausted. She had put out so much, but I was afraid of them. I mean, so she was very powerful. The last day I saw her, she cried a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, I Prabha Marathe from Kalachaya was there that day. She remembers that also. Because she came in, Guruji came into the dance room and she looked at me and she said, "I miss you when you're not here. Why are you going? Don't you know my time is running?" I was about to get on a flight that night to come back home to the States. And that was the last time I saw her, and she cried a lot, and it was, we had such a connection. Sometimes I say, I dreamt of Guruji and Tata Didi before I even saw them. I feel like I had some past life or some other connection with them. And she, the last thing she said to me when I would call her, and she was in the hospital before she had a procedure, I think that kind of precipitated her maybe, being very ill. The last thing she said to me is, "I love you." I'm left with that, and not to be too flaky, but when she first, I think right before she went into the hospital, I had a dream, and she said to me, "Tony, take your sorrow and put it in your dance." And I woke up and I thought, my sorrow? Why would I do that? No. And then when she became ill and passed, I thought, oh, I remembered the dream. I remembered, and I thought, oh, she had come to get, she had come to visit, to tell me in advance, that.
No.
But I think she was still hoping, that she was going to come out of it all and come home, and that, but it wasn't meant to be. So.
Oh. Those are the experiences that make you feel so special moments. That is why I'm always very good in listening to such. This is history, and this is
yeah. I mean, she was when I have to say when I first went to study with her, that whole era with everyone living in the house, and I mean, she would always want to have a party and invite a ghazal singer to come, and then if I she'd drag Zakir over, the tabla player would say, please, Zakir, you it would just turn into something else. And these times are so so memorable, and I mean, who am I to have been even in the company of these people, but that was my cardinal. So what can I say? I feel fortunate and blessed. I must, to have been there at that time. Shankar Mahadevan, for instance, he was coming in to study with Tata Didi.
Oh.
I mean, this Radha Rani song that he sings, and that I think is even on. I think he's called it. There's a new album out called "Is That So?" that Shankar has with Zakir and John McLaughlin. So the song on there, now he renamed it Tata.
Wow.
It's an experiment with drone and just different. Korwai here and John soloing, and John's doing some different sounds with his guitar. I mean, I don't technically have to ask Zakir.
Wow.
Remember, I didn't know who Shankar Mahadevan was then. Of course, I was very, very, very close friends, family. But I remember him coming in and taking Khalid, and so many other people would come by, and I wish I could even remember now, but it was an incredible immersion for me. And of course, I'd come from this environment here. Oh,
she's a lovely person as well, Zulekha ji.
Amazing work.
Very beautiful human being.
We danced together,
Oh.
Years ago, I remember Kansab had taught Krishna. Oh gosh, I remember the song. In class, Ali Akbar Kansab, I mean.
Okay.
And oh gosh, I was friends with all the musicians. I'd come from a musical background. I was studying vocal music with Kansab. It was an incredible environment, the Ali Akbar College when I first got there in the 70s. There were about 150 students. It was kind of a golden era. All Americans. At Raviji's concert, you would see a few saris. I'm not trying to be jingoistic here or nationally chauvinistic, no. But the only person I remember who was Indian who was studying with us, came with the sitar to study with Ali Akbar Khan was Haridas Chaudhary's daughter Rita. There were some very fine musicians, a lot of them coming out of famous rock bands too. I don't want to mention names because then I'll forget someone and I can't, because there were, and it was also an immersion. You studied with Kansab. His best students would take you for review classes. Shankar Ghosh was there. His wife was teaching vocal class as well.
Wow.
Pandit Shankar Ghosh.
No.
It was a full environment. So I came from that also. I have to say that studying Kathak with Chitreshji at the college was amazing. So what I wanted to say about Zuleika. So Kansab taught this. And I'd been studying maybe a year, maybe. And I thought, oh, we should dance this. What did I know?
Oh.
No, Radha, what, I still don't know anything, but anyway. So I went to Chitresh, we went to Chitresh and we said, we want to dance this and we want to perform. And we have a wonderful sitar player, wonderful singer of the college and double player. They were very fine students. And he said, okay, show me. And we did it, and we did it. And he said, nice, very nice. Go ahead, go do it.
Wow.
So that was the first time Zuleika and I we danced and together. And then even before that, for one of the big Sufi festivals, Zuleika, myself, and the dancer artist, very fine artist, Deborah Lewis, who became my partner, we did a trio. So I've been dancing with Zuleika for a long time. And I'm so happy, and she's missing Delhi. So, yeah. So, yes. So I did want to say that I was fortunate that when I had been studying music, and when I did come to Ali Akbar Khan, and I did come to the college, there was a Kathak dance teacher there, Chitresh. So that was, and it was kind of a serendipitous, symmetrical thing that happened there.
Yeah. Chitresh Da was also a very strong personality, like very strong on stage.
Pardon me?
Chitresh Da, he was also a very strong, very energetic on stage.
Mahaji, I'll just like to cut in between. I'll like to add a couple of more special guests today.
Wonderful.
I'd like to welcome Murad Bhai and Ustad Akram Khan ji into the chat room. Welcome, Murad Bhai.
Adab Tony Bhabi. Thank you so much for accepting our request, and we are very glad to have you here.
I could almost read seeing you all.
Thank you so much, and for listening in so much stories and wonderful your experience. Thank you so much.
Beautiful journey.
You see my Guruji here, and you see Marigold.
Yeah.
We're so gifted. I mean, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Yes,
my former yoga teacher, she's a disciple of Pattabhi Joyce and spent a lot of time in Mysore. Pattabhi Joyce ji, but she is now an amazing. She raises flowers with her sister. They have an amazing business, and now everything is canceled. No weddings.
Yeah.
Events. all of the things she was supplying. And her son, who's an amazing, very talented dancer, ballet dancer, been in major companies in San Francisco, also in other states. He's delivering flowers to us on Friday. He trained with Isabella, also my daughter Isabella. And I think, oh God, how blessed are we? And so she brings, right, Guru Purnima, all these garlands of marigolds are coming. And I wrote to her and I said, Peggy, do you know that it's Guru Purnima and you've sent all these marigolds? And she said, oh, this is the season for marigolds. And I said, okay. We're getting flowers, we're in an amazing community here. We have special water delivered to us from Swapanda student Bill Witter. How blessed are we? And of course, we live in a beautiful place, and I'm able to have my own garden. So I can pick my own. Zakir, like, I'm making this today. Oh, by the way, who knew? Zakir's a great cook. He's doing a lot of. Everybody's cooking a lot. Are you guys cooking a lot? I mean, we're cooking.
A lot of guys are cooking these days. We are cooking also. I have tried a few things.
Wonderful. Anyway, then we have to come to your house.
Oh,
no, but I won't let you in my house.
Lot of guys are cooking and lots of are eating also.
Especially, tabla player is very good cook also. Akram bhai also very good cook.
Pardon me?
Akram bhai is also very good cook.
Well, these days I'm not playing anything, but I'm cooking only, Tony Bhabhi.
all of my gurus. Now, Guruji wouldn't cook. She had a thing. She would want to keep me away from the kitchen. She'd always say, Tony, you should call me Tony. She couldn't say, no. Cooking makes you half tired. Not tired like you good beyond. Not that kind of. Half tired doesn't make you feel like not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I understood that. I did, but I do love to cook, and I come from this Italian family with great chefs. Zakir doing so much cooking, I can't believe it. He has so much energy, of course, because normally we'd be doing. And but you know who I learned to cook from? If I learned to cook anything with masala, curries, Abbaji and Ali Akbar Khansa.
Wow.
Watching them. Abbaji, I studied with Abbaji. I went to study with Abbaji. I wanted to study with him. This was before we were married. He was in New York. I was visiting my mother. He was staying at Gramercy Park Hotel. Raviji was staying a couple of streets north in a little apartment. I was going to Abbaji every day. And I was what? Shopping? Shopping. He was, and there was one other student that was very good table player. He was, and Abbaji was the one who was really the chef. He was just doing all the work, And he would cook. He'd have a drink, and then the reciting, the parant would start. Then the lesson would begin. And our concept, if you know, I don't know if you spent time with him. We went often to his home.
Okay.
Always, he was one of those like Guruji. He always was in his home. Very, very loving, very giving. Come have dinner with me. Now, he liked to not eat. He'd have this glass of scotch, another one. So he wouldn't eat till maybe 2 a.m. In that time, all the stories would come.
Oh.
Wow.
And I have to tell you that I thought of him many times. I think I told Alam this. Because he had a little bit of an apocalyptic vision.
Okay.
He could be dire sometimes. And when this whole thing started with the pandemic, shops were empty. And you walked into the supermarkets and the shelves were bare. Your money your money was good for nothing. You couldn't get toilet paper. You couldn't get paper towel, napkins, cleaning products. And Kansab used to say, the time will come, your money won't be any good. You'll only have what you learned. You'll only have your music, you'll only have your dance. And as I have to say, I'm walking down the supermarket with the huge aisle, empty shelves, empty. This is America. Come on, let's do this. Empty. I thought of Aliyat Kansab. I said, oh my God, this is what he said. He said this would happen. It happened. Now it's better. Now it's better. And also, you go to. I think what we're finding now, go to the small shops. People are trying to do more in a smaller way. I think. That's the big thing. That's our connection. But, just like now, are we going to have to teach our children at home? Maybe.
Yeah.
Allow me, can I ask you something? If you allow me.
Gigi, please.
I'm sure there are Sanju Sahai and Kali Bhai and Vijay Bhai also watching our program. Thank you, all of you. And one of my very dear old friend, Umaji, she's a wonderful Kathak dance. She's also watching. So can I ask you a question regarding you and Zakir Bhai?
Yes. Nothing personal.
Don't worry. I will not ask anything funny, Bhabi.
Yeah. I keep saying I will write my book. I will. I'm being encouraged.
And Kali Bhai, let me tell you, I'm not maestro. I'm just an ordinary tabla player. Maestro is only one person, and I don't have to tell his name. He's the only one who is tabla maestro.
Very true.
Very true.
Zakir Bhai, and you, Tony Bhabi, can you tell all of us when did you perform together for the first time?
Wonderful question.
Wonderful. I wanted to ask this, but I was just waiting.
There were times when I was a student with
was it Tony Bhabi? Let me complete the whole question. When did you perform with Zakir Bhai, or when did Zakir Bhai accompanied you? Either way. And was it rehearsed? Was it rehearsed performance or unrehearsed?
Oh no, you can't.
Like Zakir Bhai these days.
You're not allowed to rehearse with Zakir. No. But look, he knows everything. When I first performed with him a solo, I think it was 1987. There was a wonderful presenter, her probable apology. I don't know if you know her. She had Bay Area performing arts. She presented our solo, and you know what was great about that? It was broadcast on the radio, and I thought, you can hear, right? It was on NPR, National Radio, and you always say, if you had, that mystical saying, if you had the eyes to hear and the ears to see, and Zakir would always say to me, people in India, they say, I'm going to haircut. Why? Why do you say that? For many reasons. Because, Sangeet is what? Nova arts, theater, dance, vocal music, instrumental music, percussive music. This is the Sangeet. This is the understanding. It's not just music as, playing music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the first time. No, you can't. Absolutely not. And he never would allow it. And in fact, I remember about 17 years ago, so I was going to dance with not Zakir, somebody else. And I came to see Guruji, and I was there, and I said, "Oh, I have to have rehearsal," and she said, "What?" Guruji said. She said, "My Taurus, my Parans, you nothing doing. You let him meet you on the stage. Nothing, let him, this is she didn't say that. She said, let him pick up. That's what she used to say. When she came here in 1986, I remember she said to the audience, she said, "Oh, Zaku picked up very good." Yeah, no, there's not rehearsal. Although sometimes I'd ask him, should I do this padan or should I do? He'd say, okay, fine, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. I just wanted to say also that I always like to do. She says she also danced this way in Guruji. Gut bhav in a long way. You know the long way. Yeah. Not an item in a sense. I could have vocal accompaniment, of course. So that way, I mean, even we were trained that way at the Ali Akbar College, that the students of Kansab, the road students, they learned to watch. And so if the story got, if you're playing ball, if the Kaliya Daman, for instance, right? That's a whole other feel. They change rag. They would, then maybe when the snake came, maybe it, it became, powerful. And they were good students, and they learned to do it. And that was what. And then of course, now the last time I performed, not the last time, but one of the recent times, I had Dinesh Mahavir with me for the Chobe Maharaj festival. And he had sung with Guruji so much, right? That when I did, I think I did Jatayu Moksh, he sang at different times. He would put in, because he'd done it. I'm sure he probably, Gopiji did full Ramayan, as you probably know. And we were trained that way. All of the characters to do that.
Wonderful.
I don't know if it doesn't seem like it's in vogue anymore. People do items.
Pradeep, I have one question. You have been associated with so many great musicians, like Sultan Khasab and many more. So, as a Sarangi player, I just wanted to know, was Sultan Khasab also performed with you? And is there any memorable experience?
Sultan Khasab. It's Sultan
Khasab.
Oh, well, once, about 15 years ago, Zaku was performing he was especially being, he was being lauded somehow at Monterey. No, not Monterey. Montreal. We went to Canada. Montreal Jazz Festival. And he was doing a big thing with, different artists. And then he had his own ensemble with Sultan Khasab, I think Selva Ganesh.
Okay.
Others, I don't remember now. I'm trying to remember.
2016.
But Sultan Khasab was there. So Zakir said, I want you to dance some Torahs. Okay. So I just did. Wow. It was very well received. Now, Khasab said to me, I was off. He said, you dance now. I said, no, I did my set. He said, no, I'm going to sing and play. I said, but Khasab, I don't know the song. He said, doesn't matter. You just come and dance. I was like, oh my God. And I don't speak. It's my great shame, disgrace that I'm not fluent in any languages. So besides English. So I am not kidding you. On stage, Murad Bhai, he's singing and playing, puts down his bow for a minute, and he's like, it's actually showing me what Of course, the rhythms are going, and they're both Elvis playing too, and Zakir, I did it, and that was an amazing experience. I mean, I can't even now think of it that it happened. And he, Kansab, we all went to visit him right before he passed away because Anissa was married, and we went to Jodhpur, and we introduced all the family, Taylor, Anissa, Taylor's family, my son-in-law Taylor, and we spent time in Jodhpur, and Sabir had come here. I think Sabir Bhai when he was like 18, and he was here and didn't speak too much English, and he was bothering me because I didn't have Star TV or something on my television, and then we had this wonderful thing happen that Ali Akbar Khan Sahib came over, and he said to Sabir, "Play for me," and that was a beautiful thing for Sabir to have that happen. Wonderful. I think right in the living room. So so that and Kansab, even in I think Japan, he played at that time too. We performed for this big festival on Sado Island, and he was there. And then Zakir always took care of, you must know this, Akram Bhai, he's been playing since he's a kid, right? Little kid. And so he's always been on tour with his elders and the people he was raised to respect, admire. I mean, and I watched him, how he took care of Kansab and Vikuji. Vikuji was there also. And that was a lesson for me. That was in 2001. And I thought, wow. Because I knew, people would always call me and say, from SRA, they would tour back in the day, when Rashid Khan was a kid. And they Zakir took so good care of us and blah, blah, blah. And he drove us around, and he waited for me because I wasn't feeling well. And he carried this, and he loaded the van, and and I know that. But then when I was on tour with them, and I saw that kind of respect for his elders, and that's part of the work, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Abaji would come and stay. Guruji too. I mean, even when Guruji stayed, I would be exhausted. You had to care for them like babies.
Absolutely.
Guruji came, when she came, not only did she want to teach all day, and she was staying with us, she wanted to have a party every night. All the students would come. Now I've got a 2-year-old and then a child in school, and I had to get up early and get them to school, make their lunch. She wanted to party till, Aliyah would come over, and all the students, and she was amazing. She wanted to. She was full of life. What can I say?
Yeah.
Have you ever played tabla yourself? Have you ever learned tabla?
A little bit. I can bang on. I would like. There was a time when I would practice. I can play for my classes, but I normally bring a big wooden cajon for my class because it can cut right through. I think that wood, just like people use natuvangam, the wood can cut through the big room and the gungru.
Yes.
If you know.
Yes.
So Zakir, some patahon maker has made these 3 different sizes, and you can play kind of like a paka with boom, 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 boom. You can make that, and it rings, and so.
Wow.
Tony Bhabi, I have a question. Performing with Zakir Bhai, this question is very much related with what Akram Bhai asked. That performing with Zakir Bhai is like something one imagines. When you first time performed with Zakir Bhai, How did you feel? Like, what were you nervous? Were you happy? Like, what was the feeling?
It's devastatingly frightening.
Sorry, Akram bhai, you were saying something, Akram bhai?
Likewise, Innee bhai, some water for me also. Ji, Tony Bhabi, please go ahead. Mahua ji asked you some
No, it's
questions. Thank you.
it's frightening, but I remember that I was so scared, and I was talking to L. Shankar, the great violinist Shankar. Now
Yes.
from South, and he said, "Look, you can't think that way when you go on the stage with anybody. You can't think that way." So that gave me a little encouragement. And then what I always say about performing with Zakir, I don't know if you swim, but did you ever notice the feeling you get when there's a lot of salt in the water? You can float.
Yeah.
You're buoyant. You're supported. That is the overwhelming feeling of being dancing with Zakir. It's like floating on a salty sea. You're a buoyant object. What can I say? I remember, you see photographs. I'm thinking of this one photograph of Maharaji, and great dancers. For ballet dancers, they say, "Oh, he's so good. He has a lot of air time." What does that mean, air time? He's so lifted. He can jump. He stays there. You almost think he's not going to land on the beat, but he does.
Yeah.
He's so suspended. That's how you feel. That's how I feel. Is this so supported and exhilarated? Because you're dancing with Torah and you've got this incredible sound. What?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just want to stop and let's say you're pulling water from the well. All of a sudden you hear this sound. It's coming with the public. You just want to stop and wow. How can you do that? So yeah. No, you sort of have to think about it because I don't feel worthy at all, but that's it.
I saw a picture of. Sorry?
Akram bhai, did I answer your question?
Maybe in future we can invite both of you and Zakir bhai, to perform in Delhi. Will it be possible?
We're praying. I think now we need a lot of prayers. A lot of prayers. That we have to get back. Maybe not get back. Go forward and But when I think I mentioned one of Zakir's students' fathers passed away from COVID in Bangalore nights ago, and I told Zakir bad news, and he said, I said, well, he has to go back to India. He said, how is he going to go? And I thought, oh my God, no, wait. What do you mean? Who even thought that you would have those thoughts? Luckily, Air India is having a repatriation flight almost every morning from San Francisco. We could get on that flight. But who even thought we would think this way,
Yeah.
All of Zakir's tours are canceled.
Absolutely.
All of your tours are canceled, aren't they?
Yes.
Everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
Every musician.
We are just sitting at home.
We have to. What? Welcome, Mike.
I said we are just sitting at home and talking to each other.
But as you said, this is a kind of a blessing in disguise, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we can go in. We can go inside. I've thought about why did I first even come to Kathak? I was searching for
Tony Bhabi, during this pandemic time, most of the artists coming on live Facebook concert and many other platform. So because this time is very tough and very crucial time for everyone. So some of the artists practicing and staying home and to take care of their families. But beside this, they also want to perform, because kalakar always want to perform for the audience, to take uh, response. How is
Yes.
they are practicing? People can praise their practice and their quality. So in this time, as I told that most of the musician coming live, what do you think? Is it okay for them? Because most of the people say musicians should not come on Facebook live to perform, because after COVID-19, it will be, most of the organizer doesn't want to invite them, because they already perform so much on Facebook.
It's basically
So
not to perform free online.
yeah,
I mean,
free,
yeah.
or especially for free.
This is I don't know. I think that we have maybe we have the opportunity to what I think some people are doing here. Some of the personally artists that we know that I do like, they are having living room performances like maybe we have having here. These are discussions, raising money for artists who need it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes. And
that now Zakir gives his Z chat, for free. But Zakir, I know that. And I encourage him to do that. But I know that, this is the time of year when I would be preparing for all the students to come, his students, workshop.
very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Very
And
nice.
it's very difficult. And everyone's feeling it. 50, 60 students would come. Now more would come, but we have to keep it at a minimum, but whatever. So will he start to teach again like that and charge those students? Probably yes. We haven't figured out the format yet. You can't have, I don't think you can have more. I don't know. You are gurus also, Akram Bhai. If you were teaching students online, you'd want to see their hands. You'd want to watch them. You'd want to give feedback. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Now, about organizers in India, I don't think I can address that. That might be a question for Zakir, but I think you might have gone back to sleep. I don't know. I feel like, you have to follow your intuition. If you feel like you want to, do.
And
I feel like charge 100 rupees. I've seen, I think I saw the other day Tofik Bhai and I think it's Rahul Deshpande. I think they're performing. I think there was a fee.
Oh. No, I think like if some musician
Some
asks
are
another
performing
musician
with a fee, but some of them are performing without fee.
without fee. Yes.
And some are performing
But
without.
there are some organizers or organizations, they can pay, but they doesn't pay now.
Don't want to pay.
For them, I personally think that they should pay artists before they ask for the concert, live concert series.
I agree. I would agree.
And I personally request you to give a positive message to all of them, younger artists or established, who they are feeling like depressed, and some musicians or any kalakar feeling frustrated in this during this COVID-19 period. So what do you suggest them to keep them give them the positive energy and positive message?
Well, I think that I can certainly send, all my love, my prayers and blessings, and for all kalakar to keep on, and with the riyaz, try to, because you can fall into a depression, you can fall into a darkness, you can accept this. Someone said the other day, I don't remember what it was. Either you can fall into the whole of this, or you can use it as a portal.
Yeah.
Let's step into something else. And we have to keep our spirits up. I'm saying this because I can become very dark. My nature is like this. I'm married to someone who's not like that. I'm the daughter of someone who was not like that. Luckily, I have these two people, my mother and my husband. They were always kind of encouraging. Don't be sad. Don't. I have a lot. I worry. I'm worried now. Every day the news is worse. Don't turn on the television in America.
Yes.
It's worse.
Yes. Oh.
We have over 140,000 deaths.
Oh my God.
Millions of people are infected. You have millions and more people in India. Right? You don't have. I don't think you have so many.
No, in India it's still under not under control, but yeah, people have been a lot, like we were speaking earlier, people are very careless about this.
Careless, yeah.
Scenario,
I'm like, what happened? All of a sudden there's a surge. So what can I do? I feel bad. My students are missing me. And I don't have a lot of students. I'm not like you, I have a school, but I have some students. They're missing me. They're probably listening now. So what am I doing? Sending them voice memos. Learn this pattern, practice this. Yeah. One of my students wrote back to me. She said, Antonia ji, how would you write that? I must have taught her something that I was like, what? What are you worried about? Writing it down. Just learn it. But what I did was, I found an app, I had a pencil on my iPad, You can write, you can look matra, you can do that, dashes for the microbeats, whatever. So we're all helped. I don't think I've answered your question fully, but I can only give my encouragement to everyone who's feeling isolated, who's feeling frustrated, that this will end, and you will have learned more about yourself. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Absolutely.
After this is over. And I pray that for myself. And I find myself, and I don't want to sound too pious, but I do find myself in a constant state of prayer, which I believe in. I remember when I first went to study with Guruji, I got in the taxi with her and we were going somewhere. Every time she'd get into a car, she would pray. I think she had an accident once in a car. Every time she would pray. And she looked at me, those great eyes of hers. Don't you pray? I will never forget that. And I said, yes, Guruji, I do. I learned, my mother taught me my first prayers. I didn't learn them from a priest or a nun. And I had many of them growing up, plenty. But my first prayers, I learned from my mother. So that always stays with you, as you know. You from your parents, what they gave you. So Zakir always tells the story of Abbaji. He's a baby, and Abbaji spoke what? Not a prayer. He should have done the prayer. Ammaji was angry with him. What? Where's the Bismillah? What happened to the prayer? He recited bowls.
Yeah.
In Zakir's ear as a baby. He said, and Abbaji would say to me all the time, Beta, this is my prayer. This is my prayer.
Kya baat hai?
Absolutely, right? So
beautiful.
I think we're given this great gift that we've been given with the art that we've been given, because it comes from prayer. It comes from right living. Yeah. Absolutely, right? And nature. We have nature all around us. Even Guruji, I mean, studying Kathak with her, she'd always say, Don, I learned from studying animals.
Wow.
Animals, trees, birds, nature. I'm sure Maharaji says this, obviously.
Yes, yes.
So many things. So many paramalu that we have in, So there are all of these things that we are given with what we have learned, coming from nature, coming from the universe, coming from right living. What is correct living? And prayer. This is our prayer. We offer. And if we can do this now with a lot of power, force, we can get out of the situation and we can come to Delhi.
Yes, inshallah. Inshallah.
Inshallah, we all will be waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Eagerly.
Absolutely. So now
Innee bhai,
I ask you all questions. Now I'll start with Mahua. Are you teaching online? Do you take your students or?
Yes, yes, Chori Bhavi, I teach online. Well, I have been teaching online like since 2 years before because there were many students, because there are many students who are not very, like, they don't have that much financial support to come to India. So, I started teaching online way before, but now it has become like we are in a situation now where everyone who are coming to me now, even they are learning online from me. So yes, I'm giving on, but from many students, I am not charging money because they are not in a good shape right now.
No.
So, but I'm still teaching.
Are you teaching online, Akram bhai? Yes.
Babaji, I appreciate very much.
Thank you, Mia. Thank you.
Akram bhai, she was asking you a question. That question.
I was wondering, Akram bhai, are you alone with
Tony Bhabi, you are scaring me.
Are you home with your family only right now?
Yes, Bhabi, I am at home, with my family, of course.
Yeah.
Even I am having grandchildren right now.
Oh,
mashallah.
Are they all with you? Aman,
no. They are not with me.
Oh.
But sometime I can bring them here just to have fun with me. So one by one I brings them here, and like Zakir Bhai, he's having good time with his grandchildren. So I am also enjoying very much with both of them. I have two son grandchildren. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's fun. Actually, it's fun. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Amazing. I know. I think the weight is off when you're a grandparent. When you're a parent, it's like my daughter says, "Mom, you." I said, "Look, you discipline her. I spoil her."
That's what grandparents do.
Exactly, of course, it's wonderful. Swapan Chaudhary always tells me about how much fun he has with his grandchildren. And Murad bhai, are you home with your family?
Yes, Tony Bhabi, because I belong to a joint family, all brothers and their wives and all family staying together.
Oh my God, joint family.
Yes. So we all 4 brothers staying in the same house, and our family, children and nephew, and everyone is here.
Guruji used to say to me, "When you come, don't stay at a similar house. That's where we live. You come and stay with me."
Wow.
In fact, when I first, I can tell you, it's funny. When I first went to study with her, she said to me, now I'd been studying with her for a little while, and she said, "Now you have to forget you're married."
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, I don't know." And she said, "No, babies you can bring them. Let them be here. Let him and go. Now, the honeymoon's over." She had that, you have to sacrifice. And we know that this is artists sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a good.
इन्नी भाई वो सवाल पूछने का वक्त आ गया है जो हमेशा पूछते हैं, तो आप या महुआ जी दोनों भाभी से वो सवाल पूछें.
What? There is a question that Murad Bhai has and Mahua ji has, that in the end segment we always ask to the artists, to the guests we invite.
And this question especially for the during this pandemic
COVID-19 and this pandemic time. It's about the question they have is that if you were made the head of culture department for one day, what changes would you like to bring to the arts world and to the way the organizations work?
Well,
it will be good for art and artists.
I can speak. I think that we had something happen here recently where there was some poll taken on who are the essential workers now.
Mm. Yeah.
And artists, I could cry, were deemed non-essential.
Yeah. We saw that here also. It was circulated a lot. Yeah. Very well.
I mean, where is the inner life? Where is not even just the inner life? I mean, do people forget? Does the government forget? I don't know about India too much. Here in America, we have had a constant winnowing away of the major endowments, government endowments for the arts. They're practically non-existent. Private people, foundations, fundraising will support the artist. Most of the dance companies, for instance, they always have to have, big fundraising things happen. And most artists, they hate that. It's kind of not in our DNA that we want to be fundraising. No, we're always kind of like, Allah will provide. It's going to happen. We'll be all right. We'll just keep working. We'll keep working. And we never thought about having a nonprofit. Myself, maybe now we do. But how could an artist be non-essential? Do you realize people here listening to music all the time? Where do they think it comes from? And you have, even with, I don't want to disparage technology, but the amount of music that's downloaded for nothing, because we have our own label and because Zakir has a publishing. And I see when the reports come in. Do you know that someone can listen to your music? You know what you're paid? I mean, it's not even a penny. It's a part of, imagine like a part of a penny. 0.00, you look at, I shouldn't say, I don't want to say the names of the companies. And many artists have fought that. So what I feel is that it's too bad. I don't know why. Artists are often made to feel. I think sometimes, I've certainly gone through in my life as a dancer, feeling that dance has not been respected.
Yeah.
As music. Dancers, I felt it, I heard it from many, and if I got to be a cultural chair, I would certainly hire the best minds that I could, who are economists and art. And you have, in India, you certainly had, you've had poet presidents, haven't you? Who was that one a while ago? I think.
Atal Bihari Vajpayee?
Yes. He was a poet. In fact, that's when Guruji was so angry. How could they give me Padma Bhushan? Same year, others were getting, younger than her. Padma Vibhushan. That's when she couldn't accept it. And what she said was, I didn't expect it from him because he's also a poet.
Yeah.
He's an artist himself.
Very true.
From other administrations, I might have accepted it. Other governments.
Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy. Things are crazy. Things are backward. It's like, you know, when you talk about apocalyptic times or Kali Yuga, we have to live through this. It's dark. It's darkness.
Yeah.
But that's what I would. That's what I would do. You know, you have to call the finest minds to help, and that they appear.
Very true.
We need we need some. Zakar's going to do a little talk tonight with Charles Lloyd. Charles is an old jazz guy and great artist and thinker, and he said, Tony, we need a seer. Someone very big. We need, you know. So I think that's what, and I think sometimes, you know, that's what our administrations are lacking right now. They don't want to call the finest minds.
Yeah.
To think out what these things are.
Very true.
And greed is ruling right now and has been.
Yes, very true.
For many years, you know. So, but I don't want to, you know. Let's not end this on a sad note.
Yeah. Exactly. This is actually a sad question because everybody is, you know, this has been going on for years, and nobody has a definite answer for it.
But I think, you know, things are getting better. I think in a sense, you know, even if I look at my Kathak community, Kathakars, you know, I see, I feel it, you know, I just feel this kind of a resurgence or a renaissance. And I feel that there's so much to give. You know, I mean, what a great, I have to say this at the end now, what a great art form is Kathak.
Absolutely.
Great dance, music, storytelling, art form. How complete is it?
It's very complete.
Yeah.
You could do, if you're trained in Kathak, you can do anything. That's how I feel.
Yes. Very true. Very correct, Bob.
I know. One time I said to Guruji, you know, this is a funny story. I said, Guruji, you know, I'm going to do some dance with a little bit different music. And, you know, I'm not going to stick to, you know, Indian classical music. I'm trying to do some collaborative things. She looked at me and, Donna, you can do whatever you want. Just don't call it Kathak. You can call it Kathak influenced. You can call it Kathak laced. You can call it Kathak ornamented. You could go. Kathak is what you learn from your gurus, as they taught you. That's how she.
Yeah.
So
correct.
Exactly. But at the same time, the training is so classical work. With classical work, I had a great ballet teacher. She used to say that to me because I would take her ballet class, and she'd say, "You didn't study port de bras as a ballerina, but you have great port de bras. Why? Kathak. Arms.
Yeah.
Classical work." She'd always say that to me. She was a great teacher, and she trained a lot of very great ballet dancers. Jody White, her name was. But anyway, that's what I think, and I would like to say that I would like to close on that note, and I'm very happy to see the support that everyone's giving each other, even right now. Look.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This has been an amazing session. We've had Vibha Kapoorji with us. She's from ICCR. She's been watching constantly. We have a lot of others. We have Geeta Sethia who has who's been commenting on this, and she's been watching the whole. Zulekha posted what a wonderful, inspiring comment. Thank you to you each. Thank you to you each and all. Touches my heart very much. This was a bit, and Kalinath Mishra ji said, "Namaskar to you all." This is Geeta ji again says, "What a great session! Thank you all. Thank you so much for everyone for joining. Thank you so much, Antonia ji." And I forgot to tell in the beginning. Everybody knows that you're very fondly known as Tony ji. So
You can call me. Please.
Yeah.
It was an honor to have you here, and amongst all these. I am no performing artist, but I always tell my friends, or I tell my dad, if I'm giving Shashwati Singh ji is here. She says, "You were fantastic, Tony dear. Lovely anecdotes. Yes, we should do something about the non-responsive attitude of some people in society. Love you."
Love you, Shashwati.
Thank you so much, Shashwati ji. Thank you so much for joining us. And
all these women, mostly like my Guruji, Rukmini, Shashwati, a generation above you, they did, they did a lot to bring out the dance, to make it okay, It wasn't in any kind of a shame or a wife or class or caste or you've been. It was another generation. I mean, Guruji's stories, how she was treated. Her father was treated. He was beaten in Gharana. How dare you teach your dance to your daughters? They were accused of being, I don't want to say, but anyway. Oh, there's my student Gopi.
I was just about to say, because she commented a little earlier. She said, "Yes, we are missing you a lot."
Yeah.
We had posted that a little while.
Lovely answer. Lovely.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gopi ji, for coming.
Thank you so
much. And I'm happy to see you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you.
It was a great session. And
great session, absolutely.
Once again, thank you so much for coming.
Sorry,
I would like to say thanks to the host, and can I request all of you on the screen and off the screen to give a round of applause to Tony Bhavi. Thank you, Tony Bhavi. Thank you so much.
This is something we've been missing. This is something we've been missing. Going to the auditorium and giving a round of applause.
On behalf of all of us, can you pass our salam and regards to the one and the only one, Zakir Bhai? Please.
Yes, Tony Bhavi. Yes, Tony Bhavi.
Next time you're in Delhi, I'll definitely come and say hello. Like I missed, the last time we were at this concert that I mentioned, Tirakwa Khan Saab's concert. But definitely next time you're coming to Delhi, I'll make sure I'll come and say hello.
And I hope you all come here.
Yes, Tony Bhavi.
My tomato.
Thank you so much.
Bhashwati Mishra ji was also here. She said, "Namaskar, enjoyed, regards."
Thank you, Bhashwati.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tony Bhavi. Pranam.
Pranam.
Thank you.